All right, we are filming perfect. Okay, you guys, let me just let you know up front. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for watching. If you already haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, and feel free to share this video. So yesterday I did a video on obsolete ideas produce obsolete results, and I got that from, and let me stop right now because you guys are gonna, I live fairly close to the airport. I'm not editing any of that out. It's a beautiful day. The airplanes do fly by quite frequently, but it is what it is. I wanted to get this message out. So I did a video, obsolete ideas produce obsolete results. And I went on a small tangent, but I started to veer off and started to talk about a different subject. So today I want to touch on this subject because the thing about it is, after I dropped that video, someone contacted me. Now this is a friend of mine, someone I do know personally, and told me some things, gave me some nuggets, and also let me read a piece of an email. So when I went on a slight tangent yesterday, I kind of veered off and started talking about everything that's happening globally and shipping and the supply demand, shipping chain. So I want to touch on that a little bit more, just for the simple fact that I got some information on the subject and I want to share with you guys. So this person, I will say, does business. They have their own business. They have multiple businesses. They have been a business owner in the past. They're a business owner now. They've had multiple businesses. So they have a lot of distributors. They have a lot of connections. So she said, "You want a nugget?" I said, "I always like a little nugget." So I wanted to share with you guys. So I'm just going to read a piece of the email that she was telling me what was going on. So this is based on, there's a certain thing that's going on. I want to be real selective with my words, but we all know there's something going around right now, not quite here in the US, but it's affecting other people in different countries. We'll just say that, the air quotes. So with that being said, I instantly started thinking about how it would affect us if it started to spread. And the things that I thought about over a month ago when I first started hearing wind of it is kind of slowly but surely coming to light, you could almost say. So let me just read a piece of this. Containers and products are being delayed for 2 to 4 months. Let me repeat that. Containers and products are being delayed for 2 to 4 months on a lot of imports. We are lucky enough to get our back to school summer items and toys ahead of time. Our shipment of backpacks, so that's school backpacks, all backpacks, but mostly school backpacks, to leave China will be here in a while. Won't be coming for a while due to the shutdown of factories. So I'm just going to leave that part right there, and I just want to read back. Containers and products are being delayed 2 to 4 months. So I'm doing this video, I think today's the 27th or the 28th, okay? So let's just say it's March already. So 4 months from now is March, April, May, June. We're going all the way into the beginning of summertime, correct? Correct. So with that being said, I find it very interesting. So like if you do business, for example, you know that so if you're a buyer or a reseller or you do Amazon, you buy your stuff in bulk, sometimes a lot of times for certain people, depending on what level you are, and you buy ahead of time. So this particular person that gave me this nugget, she buys, of course, in cycles. So for example, we're in, February. So of course you would have already ordered your stuff for spring, which falls in, what holidays fall in there? We're talking about Valentine's Day, Easter, stuff like that. So you would have already got your product ahead of time to prepare it, ship it, send it off to Amazon if that's what you do, or get your store ready and then, do the changeover. Like for example, if you're in a store, so for example, let's use Walmart, for example, or Target, with these big box stores. They order their stuff in advance, obviously. So when the time comes, maybe a month and a half out before that major holiday hits, they can start changing over the store to look Eastery or Valentine's Day or whatever, Christmas or whatever. And you see that Christmas is getting closer and closer. They used to do it in October. Well, I don't know, October now. Sometimes they do it in summertime, September. It's crazy. So they get the products ahead of time so they can prepare themselves and get the store ready. So with that being said, in the email it stated they were lucky enough to already have shipped out in the containers, the distributors from China to the ports here, and they were sitting there, they've already been shipped out. But the next holiday or the next cycle you would think of is the holiday. So we're talking about October, November, December. We're talking about what? Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Those might be an issue. In the email, it also, I'm not reading the whole email, but it did state that they were lucky enough to get some of the products, but me and my friend kind of went back and forth. Well, she went back and forth, but it was all that I was already thinking about. It's like, okay, so 2 to 4 months out takes you to June. Around summertime or the beginning of summer is when you start ordering your holiday stuff, your Halloween stuff, then your Thanksgiving stuff, and then what? The big Q4, your Christmas stuff. So it just makes me think about the supply demand, that if factories are closing down, and I already thought about this, and I'll give you an example, Apple. So now there's more reports coming out. I touched on it very briefly yesterday in my video, how Apple was kind of alluding to that possibly people won't be able to get certain parts and or like iPhones. So if you're not able to get iPhones, then people, I don't have an iPhone, but people kind of get in a little funk. It's like, why can't I get this particular product? Us as Americans are varied, and I said in the video, and I don't want to say spoiled, very lucky, spoiled. Anytime you want to go to the grocery store, there's groceries there. If we want to go to a big box store, Walmart, and we need a new pair of socks, it's there. Certain countries don't have that kind of luxury, and I do think it's a luxury. I really do. Kind of circling back around, I find it just very interesting that 2 to 4 months, they're not, okay, so I will tell you another piece. I don't even have to read it off the paper. They did say that basically at the U.S. ports, they weren't accepting the containers due to the air quotes. So I found that very interesting. So I did watch an interview sometime last early week, and they were going back and forth, and they were reading some, not stats, but something from, I can't remember what news article, sorry guys, that basically there was about 20 or 50 container ships kind of just floating around, sailing around, because they were being denied at ports, and they weren't letting them bring the product to unload the product. They didn't want it on fears of the, which I think is a good thing, because you don't want stuff to spread. But it makes me think, how long has it been out there now that we're denying, like, no, we don't want this product until maybe this is contained a little bit more? What does that say about the supply chain? So if products can't be made, or excuse me, maybe they are made and they're just sitting there, right? And they can't get here for us to consume it. What does that say about that business that's there in China? What does that say about us? My friend did say, which I think is very fair, because I said it myself. I said it should be interesting. Hold on one second, because I was in the sun. It should be interesting to see how long we see the effects here in America, or anywhere actually. Or actually, people are starting to see it a little bit, but here in America, since we live in the United States of America, it should be interesting to see how it affects Walmart, for example. So I just went to Walmart today just to take a quick assessment. I didn't look for any deals. I'm good, like I said, and I will say it again. There's so many great channels out there doing so well, showing all the different clearance and stuff like that. That's just not my thing anymore. I might from time to time drop something in, like, hey, there's a deal on this or that, but I've kind of left that and kind of elevated to something else. So with that being said, I just looked, and the shelves look pretty good right now, as of right now. But it should be interesting as we get closer to spring. We hit spring, then we go into summer months, and then back to school and whatnot, how that affects. So if you think about it, I think someone gave a number that if I'm wrong, leave a comment down below, that, and I know this is a very high number, but I was listening to somebody else, I'm not saying, meaning another interview, and they were saying that almost, and not food of course, but I'm talking about all the trinkets and all the stuff, just for example, Walmart, over 80% of the products in Walmart, minus the food, are from China. Now, can you imagine in the next 2 to 4 months? This wasn't an email given to or sent to my friend that has a business, and she's been buying actually from this business for a long time. I've actually had the chance to meet the people of the business. It's a big business. Everybody orders from them. And of course, they get their stuff from China, and then they pass along the savings to us business owners. So I just thought it was kind of amazing that they sent that email, but of course, they have to make them aware. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. If you watch me and you do Amazon and you're big time, or you have a distributor or eBay and you order a lot, leave a comment down below. And basically, if you want, some people don't feel comfortable talking about it, but on this channel, I told you I'm branching out. I'm going in a lot of different directions, but I just want to make people aware that there could be shortages very soon. Meaning, I'm not talking about food, but it's kind of interesting. Just in the last couple days, all the reports coming out on Italy, how they are getting shortages in food, and because they're being quarantined in different cities and whatnot with roadblocks and stuff like that, and the grocery stores are being wiped out. So I noticed just as of yesterday and today, a lot of reports coming out about Italy. So I find that very interesting. I'm not saying that's going to happen here, but I'm just saying you need to always be prepared. With that being said, say just something as simple as towels, shoes, socks, underwear, everyday trinket, everyday little doodads and things that we have and we take for granted. We just, oh God, we ran out of bath towels. Let's go get some more bath towels at Walmart or Target or one of these big box stores, and they don't have it. Now I'm just kind of focusing on the big box stores. Here's something to think about. Say you do Amazon, and all your merchandise you obviously order from overseas or whatnot, or you do drop shipping, whatever the case may be. Kind of interesting, if you can't get to your products, what effect does that have on your business? Especially since they said 2 to 4 months. So 2 to 4 months takes us once again out to June. So that's around the time, or a little bit before, is when you start ordering your holiday stuff, meaning Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. That's a big ticket season. That's when a lot of business make the majority of their money. So if you can't make your money, or if you can't get that product in, how does your business survive? Even going back to China, I'm hearing a lot of reports, reading a lot of articles stating that the majority of these businesses could possibly go out of business in the next 30 to 60 days. They only have a window, cash flow of 30 to 60 days, and they go back and borrow money. And it's just really interesting because literally China is the hub for everything. I'm just saying, electronic, car-wise, they were talking about some of the major car manufacturers that make, I won't say the car names, but you could just do your own due diligence and do your research and see basically all of them. So if they can't make a part and I'm just giving you an example, something to just make your mind just go and think, right? So if you can't get a certain brake component for the BMW, for example, right? And there's a certain factory in China that makes it exclusively. What does that say about BMW and how they make their cars? The same thing with Apple. They gave that example. They said, okay, there's so many different components that go into making an Apple phone, right? So if there is one exclusive, and I'm not saying there is because I'm not an Apple expert, but say there's only a few factories that make this particular part to go into the phone, and they are shut down due of the. So how are they manufacturing that? So I do think, I will say, in my opinion, and I am stating some facts, please do your own due diligence and look it up and read for yourself, read articles, look for people talking about it. And just because you see it on social media or the news, it doesn't mean it's true, but that's why I always tell people, do your own due diligence. With that being said, sorry. If you're new to my channel, I do ramble a lot, but some of these parts aren't being made, so products cannot be made and shipped out. So that's just something big. Cars. So I'm talking about the electronics. So I'm talking about RAM, just all kinds of things come to mind that are not being made that people need on a daily basis, especially if that is your business. If your business all day long is to sell RAM on eBay or Amazon and you can't get to your product, how does that affect your business? Well, we know how it affects your business. Your business starts to tank, starts to go down. And say you had loans out, now you're not able to pay those loans, right, to the banks. So see how it's gonna be a chain reaction across the board. So I think in the next comfortably January, February, it's February, March, April. I say by April 1st, we're gonna start seeing more and more effects. Going certain places and we're not able to get certain products, and and I'm curious to see how people are going to react here in the United States of America. I am going to say another trigger word. This is a trigger word because I said it yesterday and I just touched on it briefly and then I went past. Trump, our president, whether you like him or not, that's fine. You don't have to go on a big rant. I'm just saying. I remember when he was doing his polling, his election, he kept saying, and he to this day he says, make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're going to bring manufacturing back to the United States. Now, like I said in the video that I did the other day, I did touch on it a little bit because I said, well, how exactly are we going to do that? We need products, we need raw materials, we need the people obviously to work. That would put people back to work. But I said, if you can do it in China, I'm not saying they should, I'm just saying it's already done, it's being done. All these major companies went overseas because labor, taxes, so on and so forth. It's cheaper to make it in China, but look what happened to China. I do think that it is not smart to have all your eggs in one basket, meaning if all major manufacturing comes out of China or Asia, where, that region, is that smart? Because then you could have something like this and the supply demand totally shuts down. So if it shuts down, how will these products, if there's no alternatives? Meaning maybe, and I was going to throw out the word Italy. I was going to say stuff can get made from Italy because, a lot of high-end stuff, actually, like handmade stuff. I'm just thinking I'm thinking fashion-wise. Bags and stuff like that are made there, but now they're having issues. So see how the contagion can hit different spots and everything can just start to shut down here, shut down here, shut down here, and then you're just left, I won't say with nothing, but it's just it's interesting to say the least. Will I be on top of this? Yes, because tomorrow actually I will be going to the White Label Convention. So I'm really, and it's hosted by Alibaba, I'm really interested to see the feel of the rooms, what people are talking about, business owners and keynote speakers. I did just receive an email stating that they will be having I guess a new keynote speaker, someone speaking. I don't know if they were already speaking or I just maybe read the email late, but I'm just really curious to see what a lot of these manufacturers, these distributors, these big box, businesses are saying about how a small business or medium-sized businesses will be able to get our products in to sell to the consumer. Now, I think if this goes on any longer or if it gets worse and worse, I did hear reports that some parts of China are asking the workers to go back to work and, so they can produce and manufacture stuff to be sent out. But my question is, if we're not even receiving a lot of the stuff at the ports, or maybe it needs to be quarantined for a certain amount of time to make sure, whatever the case may be. But I think it's a very big delay. So it's a very big delay. So I know for a fact, my opinion, I will say my opinion. In the next month or so, I really think in the next month, we are going to see, I think, big gaps in a lot of the retail stores on everyday items. Because if you really think about it, I used the example yesterday for grocery stores. You go to the grocery store, it's like, wow, you can pick anything you want. You want orange juice, you want eggs, you can have anything you want. Other countries are not so lucky. But if you think about it, literally if something was to happen and people ascended on a particular grocery store or even a big box store, they would be wiped out and they wouldn't get product back for a while, especially if there's like a epidemic and or if there's like an issue with getting products. So with that being, sorry, the kids are out and they just got out of school a little while ago, so they're outside playing. I think I'm going to wrap this up a little bit, but I just find it very interesting. I want to read this part to you guys one more time. Containers and products are being delayed for 2 to 4 months. 2 to 4 months, for if you just skip all the way to 4 months, that's almost half the year down the drain. What do you do for the next year, especially if you cannot order products and get them in? Very, very interesting. Like I said, if anybody works for, or excuse me, if you have your own business, or if you are a distributor or manufacturer, please chime in, leave a comment down below what you heard or what you do know for a fact, because obviously the products come through you and then you ship it out to us as business owners or whatnot. But I just find this very interesting. We're living in interesting times due to what's going on in China. The supply demand is being disrupted, and it's being disrupted, I think, in a big way. We're not talking about it. A lot of people aren't talking about it. There are some, because some of the people that I do follow on social media and YouTube are touching on it, but just in the last couple days, I would say maybe a week, they've really the supply chain has really been a topic of discussion, and I want to talk about it. That's just what I think is very interesting. I think it's going to affect everybody. There's no way that it can affect everybody. For example, I will tell you something. When this very first started, you guys, so you guys know I work at a grocery store. If you don't, I do. I work at a grocery store. I won't say the name. It was interesting because around flu season, obviously the elderly and other people get sick. So, they're always looking for medicine and they're getting their flu shots, so on and so forth. So I noticed before really, I won't say got popular, but mainstream, everybody was talking about it, for maybe 3 days straight, I had so many people asking me at my job, where are the masks at? Do you carry the mask? And one day I had like 7 people ask me, like within a 2-hour period, and it was crazy because I'm like, what's going on with the mask? And people kept saying, quote, air quotes. So I found it interesting. So I started to do a little research. One of my last customers, they actually came to me and told me that they've been everywhere and they couldn't find it. Now, see, me being Aisha the It Girl, I can find just about anything. You say, hey, there's a deal on this, I'm running to do the deal. If there's a coupon deal, back in the day when I used to coupon, I used to run it, and people say, no, we're totally wiped out here in Vegas. Nope, I would be able to find the product. I went to 7 different stores, you guys, to look for those face masks. And this was well over a month ago when it just started hitting mainstream and people were talking about it. Couldn't find a single mask. I would ask employees, they told me different spots that you can look in the store that possibly could have the mask, totally wiped out. I did go to one place and find them, but it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. And just talking to the employee there, which is that's why I'm very chitty chatty. I like to talk to people. They said the majority, she said 98%, and I won't say what store this was, 98% of the people coming in looking for masks were people from China or Asian descent. And I found that very interesting. But she said to me, she goes, I don't understand, because if the masks are being made in China, why? I said, well, you know what, if it's a lot of people that need the masks, they could be sold out just like that. I said, just like here, we're here in Vegas, we can't even get the mask. So the mask, I have not seen a mask in a store for over a month, comfortably 3 to 4 weeks. Even if you wanted some, you couldn't get them as soon as they hit the shelves. There are certain places that they actually have hit, and they told me that as soon as they put it out, it goes just like that. So I find that very interesting, but I think people need to start thinking, if this was to become something bigger, there's other things that you possibly might want to have. Maybe Lysol handy, gloves, definitely food, stuff like that, but I won't go, that's a whole nother topic, that's a whole nother video. Definitely want to focus you guys on the supply chain. Since China is shut down, they are, a lot of the manufacturing buildings are shut down. What do we do for products? Where do those products come from? Say they go another month, how will that affect? When they go back to work, do you really think that they can just open up these manufacturing buildings and just get right back to work? I think they would have to, possibly clean the buildings. I think they would have to, you know, restart the machines, make sure they're in operational, and who knows how long actually these plants and factories have been closed. We just think it's been a month. It could be a little bit longer. It could be a little less. We don't know. Not all factories are closed. Not all parts of China have been hit, but certain parts have been hit very hard. So just imagine not being able to go to your local Walmart and just getting something so simple that you think that, you know, you get every day. Or you can just go to Walmart and it's there, and it's not there. Another thing, actually, I'm going to ramble because I have a few minutes here, so I'm going to just tell you guys one more thing. I think another company, and these are my predictions. Like I said, these are my thoughts, my ramblings. Like, feel free to jump in, leave a comment, share this video. But you know, another company or companies that are going to get hit hard, 99-cent stores. Do you realize that everything in a 99-cent store comes from China? Basically, think about it. You're going into a 99-cent store to get a usually a cheap product, 99 cents or less, and you know, it's just a little fidget, a little something, you know, some quick I don't know, a towel to wipe, you know, the dishes, all your decor, which I love going to a 99-cent store for the holidays for your decor. How is that going to affect the 99-cent stores? I used to do 99-cent walkthroughs at different dollar stores. How is that going to affect them? And you know, and I wonder, what is the percentage of 99-cent stores in America or the United States? That's something to look into. I think I'll do research on that tonight. With that being said, I'm going to stop rambling. Are the supply chains being affected? Absolutely. I knew they were, but by my friend coming to me and dropping that nugget in my lap, confirmed everything that I thought, because she is a business owner. It would only be in the best interest of the bigger business owner that sells you all your product to keep your business running, to send out emails or give you a heads up and let you know, so you don't just get discouraged or you're left saying, hey, what's going on? That's just good business, right? So with that being said, receiving that email that she received, and actually I think she said she received another one, or she received that one for one of her big suppliers, and then she had another business actually let her know the same thing, that it will be comfortably 2 to 4 months for her to do, because she does an array of stuff, so she orders from different companies, and this other company also said the same thing. They basically said 2 to 4 months before they get more product in. So with that being said, you guys, feel free to share this video. It's me, Aisha, your it girl, out on the patio getting some sun, some serious sun. Share this video, hit the subscribe button, hit notifications. If you have a topic that you want me to talk about, go ahead and leave it down below in the comments, and I will definitely touch on it and give you guys my opinions and my thoughts on it. All right, bye guys.